Wait, did we find out what happened about the Pokemans?
Yeah, you gotta tell us now.
It said that they're like special. I only got one.
He got one sentence in, and then we started recording.
Yeah, I only checked one source, and it just says
They're special.
that they're
Good.
Hey, Pokemon, they're good.
brilliant Pokemon, offering different bonuses to standards. So I wonder if they have like different EVs.
That's
I don't know.
probably it.
Maybe.
Those Pokemon, they all got MacArthur grants.
Oh, they know. Sorry, that got me, Julia.
Thank you.
Pretty good. Pretty good.
They know unusual moves,
Oh.
Oh.
and a minimum of 2 out of 3 of their stats will have the highest possible value.
Oh,
pretty good.
nice.
Dang.
They're the best versions of a specific Pokemon species you can encounter in the wild.
Wow.
Nice.
Dang, they like know the electric slide.
Eric, do you know the Pokemon Croagunk?
Yeah.
Do you know any facts about him that you could share with us today?
Josh Rubino really likes that Pokemon.
That's good. That's good. I was hoping more to transition from our discussion of Pokemon to our discussion of frogs in Join the Party episode 7 to 9.
I was
New
going to put
Cabin
this all at the
2.
end, but now it's at the beginning.
No. Still in 1 and 2.
It's keeping it. Oh, yes. Actually, I do know. Josh was on What's Your Favorite Pokemon? And then I say something nice about you.
Everyone's
so I do
favorite
remember,
early lockdown podcast?
Yes, they do. So they use Croagunk's poison to make painkillers in the Pokemon Japan, and therefore Croagunk then became the mascot of like pharmaceutical companies.
Wow.
Incredible.
But you know how like everything has a mascot
In Japan, yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that. It's less bad. And like the Sacklers, I don't think exist in Japan, so I think it's less bad. So I think that's it's a little cute. So it's like, here, have this ibuprofen that was made by a Pokemon.
I mean, it's good that they don't stamp Advil with images of Croagunk because then I would want to take them recreationally, and I don't need that.
It's like eating your Flintstone vitamin gummies like the whole jar at a time.
I know. Advil truly tastes too good. I enjoy it. I buy
got
the
a candy
generic
coating on it.
because I like the generic because name brand Advil, that coating's too tasty.
Yeah, and you just want to bite into it, and if you do,
Yeah.
you're greeted with a
No,
horrible
you're screwed.
surprise.
That's
fully
why
screwed.
they candy coat it.
Hey, Amanda and Brandon,
Uh-huh.
do you know like about food? Have you heard? Is this cool tasty
Have you heard
thing
about
you can put in your mouth?
candy?
Oh man, now I'm remembering that I did have a dream that I was like the candy maestro last night, where I just had like all the candy. At, like-
Season 3 character. Season 3 character.
All right,
What
so
did
it's
you
like
do?
was it like Fantasia, but then it was candy?
No, it was more boring. It was like people have like candy jars at their desks.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Hmm.
It was like that, but instead of a jar, it's everything. I just have all the candy in every parts of my desk, and now I have all the candy separated by type.
That's pretty good.
That's not bad, Brandon.
No life I know. So this is unhinged already. Let's go.
Someone say hey, hi, hello, otherwise I won't stop talking.
Hey, hi, hello, and welcome to the after party.
There we
Wait, imagine you walked into Willy Wonka's chocolate factory, and it's just like a guy at a desk with a bunch of candy on it.
Would you like some?
And then there's an Oompa Loompa as a stenographer in the corner.
Well, he doesn't almost kill a bunch of children, so like that is a better ending in my
That is better.
opinion.
Mr. Wonka, your 1030 is here. That's it.
It's a nerd's rope.
Would you like a refreshment? Would you like some water, some fizzy lifting drink? Would that be good for you?
Very good.
I'm underpaid.
Well, you can hold on to that voice, Eric, because we are, of course, starting with talking about the new Cabin 2, where we're chilling with Frederick the Frog. Chillin' is right? We're just chilling,
Oh yeah,
talking,
he's
having
super
a
chill,
normal
no
time.
problems.
Mhm.
With a normal guy who
With a
just
normal
so
guy.
happens to be a frog.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a lot of questions here from the Discord about frogs and frog facts. Let's begin with Kelly Downs, who wanted to know, or rather just demand, more, period. Frog, period. Facts.
I gave you all more frog facts during the last after party. I have a bunch of frog facts that I cannot remember how many I've used. I had a list of 14 that I got from the Smithsonian. That was the one that had the really nasty photo of the frog that had invisible skin so you could see its
Yeah,
organs.
Hate that.
It was bad news. And then I have that other one that I used last time, which had 50 frog facts. That was from facts.net. Now, we could not tell the difference between David Boreanaz and a frog.
That's
So,
right.
if you just couldn't remember that. So I have plenty of frog facts.
Okay.
I can just look through and I can give you another one.
Eric, can I tell you a frog fact?
Please.
I used to like frogs, and now after these episodes, I don't.
That's fair. Julia, do you want another fact that might make you like this less?
Great.
Most common frog species have teeth only on their upper jaw.
You used that one
Cool.
already, Eric.
I did I? I don't
Yeah.
remember shit. That feels like one I didn't say before.
I gotta say, this diagram, though, of a frog's mouth really makes me not want to encounter frogs
I
again.
feel like I would have seen the internal nostrils and maxillary teeth that I would have commented on that. I don't think I used that one yet.
All right.
You might have linked them, and then we read them, separately, like in our own free time.
I'm just not arguing because Eric's wrong and it's fine. But I am the editor who has listened to the audio 100 times. You definitely use that one.
Oh yeah, local Brandon Grugle who remembers things even though he listens
Does
to
not
things.
have
Eric,
Four
when you
times.
tell me about
At
frog
all.
teeth, I remember it.
Shit. All right, you probably convinced me.
It's
Okay.
all right.
There's a new frog species that was discovered in 2020 and it's called the Lilliputian frog because it was so small.
Oh, that's
Aw,
cute.
guy.
That one's nice.
I have an actual
Yeah.
frog
That one's
fact that I just learned when I
really?
was on vacation. So I went on vacation, and the place that I went, they have, instead of crickets, they have like singing tree frogs. And so they're
Cool.
super loud at night, and they're like poison, and they're super tiny. So you're not supposed to touch them.
I don't
Wow.
like that they're poison. I like that they sing.
Yeah.
A
it's like,
poisonous, loud little king.
yeah. Pro
Loud
cons.
little king. Like Boo. Loud little king.
Mhm.
That's true.
Carl's wanted to know, Julia, how badly did you want to commit frogicide when you did the thing and it got undone?
Oh, so badly. So badly.
Amphibicide.
Mm-hmm. Very good.
Amphibicide feels correct and right in all ways.
It was a very cool consequence. Eric, can you remind us kind of how that went down?
Yeah. So what I really liked about that particular conflict was that it's not about killing something necessarily, or you got to figure out its weakness, but there's another problem happening at the same time, which is like the ooze getting into the water supply. So it's like Phoebe already figured out a way to stop it, which is like junk it all up. And then Frederick's like, no, fuck you, because you rolled badly. And I think that's funny enough that it's like, because, it feels more tangible. It feels more real that you do one thing to fix it, but then it can be undone. It's not like it's perfect.
Right.
It's not like you soldered off the entrance. It
Sure.
could just be undone, and everyone's like vaguely magical anyway. So I thought that was a fun consequence of like undoing the thing that you wanted to do, because it's like the ultimate goal of a Monster of the Week conflict is to like hurt a monster using its weakness enough for it to be dead, for it to be truly dead. So it's like if you don't do that, or you haven't figured out its secret, anything else is up for grabs. So I like the idea that like you didn't hurt Frederick and you only kind of sort of stopped the ooze, especially when the ooze overpowered you. Frederick's like, peace, you suck. And then we're done. It's like, that's it. We have to move on because Frederick's done with you.
I think this was a really interesting episode for me in particular because I don't think I had reckoned with the fact that like a lot of Monster of the Week is kicking ass, but also problem solving and figuring out weaknesses and stuff. And I think I was still in that kind of D&D mindset where it's like, well, if I do enough damage, it will die. It doesn't matter if I don't figure out the trick to it, right?
Yeah.
But in this case, you do need to know the trick to it and then do the damage related to the monster. So I think that the consequences of nearly dying made me realize, oh, wait, this is different.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I also think Eric just wanted to save his baby. Frederick is a good NPC. Why let him die?
Brandon, I don't have to put any fingers on any scales. Y'all rolled poorly and Les did not involve himself. So, like, I think that the situation was already really dangerous. Also, that gelatinous ooze, just so I can say gelatinous ooze one more time for all of you to remember, it was big and juicy, and Phoebe only made it worse by making 3 smaller versions of it. So it definitely, the situation was bad, especially because Frederick's like, have a challenge, here you go.
Yeah.
Every monster is allowed to be killed if that roll didn't go badly of slicing up the oozes into smaller oozes, I don't think you would have been able to kill Frederick because you didn't necessarily figure out the whole thing with the cabin, that he was like really a house demon, that there was something involved with there. But he would have been Frederick would have had a much worse time, and he wouldn't have had his bodyguard.
Yeah, 100%. I don't know if you played the game Ratchet and Clank that came out in the mid-2000s, Eric, but I did have like real Ratchet and Clank vibes because there is like basically a gelatinous ooze enemy that as you shoot him, he gets into smaller little gelatinous cubes, and it's like all of a sudden there's 8 of them, and you're like,
No, I do like that a lot.
It's great.
Yeah, I mean I think that's something that happens with other gelatinous cubes, like or something like that from the Monster Manual.
Happened.
Oh
before.
yeah.
Big guy into many little guys is definitely a trope that is horrifying to deal with, which is why it's so useful.
Yeah, I'm just saying. Julia. I'm not saying the thing you said is not correct.
Oh no, I know.
It's like there's something about being able to take. There's no monster manual for Monster of the Week.
Yeah.
Maybe I should write one. I guess.
Ooh.
But at least for the ones that we've done on the podcast. Maybe.
Ooh, would you like that?
Maybe people could download the cool cryptid compendium. I don't know.
Is the ooze in there? If not, I made that from scratch, so I should have fucking remembered that. But it's like there's something about being able to just take abilities and smoosh it into Monster of the Week. It's a lot easier to use. It's like the things they're able to do is just like a lot more. It's a lot easier to work with. But also, like, there's another thing in Monster of the Week about having, like, the monster and then their minion. And, like, Frederick the Frog was the real monster controlling everything who wanted to put you into a challenge. That, like, you know, they all have those archetypes. So it's like, you know, like when a superhero all of a sudden gets, like, teleported to space, to a space alien tribunal that's actually a contest.
Sure.
Kind of like that. But, like, the minion you were fighting was the ooze. So it was interesting to be able to pair those two things together with Frederick just kind of, like, out there vibing.
He certainly was vibing.
Anyone else read the Pendragon books when they were a kid? There's like explicitly a book with exactly that transportative plotline.
Yeah.
Oh,
Good stuff. Well, this is an interesting what if from Paul. Eric, is there any version of this hunt that would have ended with Frederick still thinking Phoebe, or one of the best friends, was the chosen one? Or would he just have kept on shifting the goalposts?
Ooh. Was I meant to fail, Eric? Tell me now.
I don't want to say too much. Because, again, this is me revealing too much, and then you realize that Epcot is just like a bunch of mechanics made in 1950.
What?
So, I know, I just ruined both your days. So, Julia did not choose the chosen playbook.
I super did not.
You chose the spooky. And the chosen, again, remember, all playbooks are exactly archetypes from Monster of the Week. Like, the chosen is Buffy, right? The chosen is the main character. And that's a problem, I think, of the game. And there are a lot of different... You need to decide if you are allowed to have a chosen at your table and if that's the kind of story you want to tell.
Yeah, it's kind of one main character is how you're supposed to play it. And that isn't necessarily the best fit for all tables.
Right. Exactly. So Phoebe being a spooky just means that Phoebe just has, like, magic powers, right? Whatever Frederick's criteria was for saying that someone is the chosen one, I can't say. I will say, though, that it would have been up to anybody if that would have happened. I want to say, in if you remember, all the way back to the New Cabin 1, Phoebe picked up a bow and arrow, knocked one, put some magic stank on it, and hit a bullseye. So that seems to be the thing that triggered that.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to say that a lot of things are a lot more up to however stuff goes than what I've written down or what I was thinking to start with.
Sure. I would also like to confirm that Phoebe's magic is particularly stanky. It smells like pine.
Ooh. It's like fermented a little bit. It's like someone opened up a jar of Quickles.
Yummy.
Made with pine.
Oh, gross, nasty.
Gross.
That's like when you get in a car and someone has a really, really weird air freshener. Like you're in an Uber and it's just like, what is this? It's someone left pickles outdoors as a... That's
Why
disgusting.
did you buy this?
Wait, came with the car? Why would you keep that up?
Sarah, Purple People Eater, would like to know, is Ribbit Ribbit the new Beep Boop?
No, because frogs actually go ribbit ribbit. Come on.
Come on, guys.
Everyone knows that.
And TJ, rolls not 20 for hugs, would like to know, is it illegal to punch a frog?
I think it is.
I think it's required. I
mean-
think you have to graduate from Camp Di.
It must be a height thing, right? So, like, if frog is bigger than,
Oh.
like, 3 feet high or
Sure.
whatever, like, on its legs, like, whatever a normal frog is, like a Goliath frog, that's the tip top. Anything above that, you can hit.
Yeah. If the frog is taller than your smallest camper, you're allowed to punch it, I would say.
I think that we shouldn't just be going out and punching frogs. I think this is a survival thing. If you feel threatened by the frog, sure, you can defend yourself.
But is that subjective, being threatened by a frog?
I mean,
I'm going to punch it in one of its big eyes.
if I punch a mosquito, it's because I don't want to get bitten, you know?
No, that's fair. That's fair.
But was that justified? You killed a mosquito in order to not get bitten.
Well, they didn't say killed. They said punched.
I know. I'm just drawing a parallel, Julia, of your actions, you know?
Yeah, because I might be itchy for like 4 to 5 days, and I can't handle that.
Unacceptable.
I want to affirm Brandon's theory and say that a Goliath frog is usually a foot long and 7 pounds, and Frederick is bigger than that.
Yeah.
I think I said he was 2 feet.
Yeah,
So
so
I
Like
think
a
anything-
that's fair.
roasting chicken. Oh my God. I just thought to myself, what's 7 pounds? A roasting chicken. That's
A newborn baby.
true.
Then you roast.
Why are you?
No,
why
no,
are we
no.
paralleling all of these things?
I don't know.
All right. Anything else that we want to talk about as we wrap up the new cabin?
Fuck that frog. Moving on.
Fuck
Fuck
that
that
frog.
Love Candy. Love these girls. I hope they come back. These campers, so entertaining. And I hope next year at camp I get the good cabin.
I'm excited to debut our new T-shirt that says "Fuck this frog" and his picture of Frederick on it, which is kind of
With
actually what I'm
little
wearing
his
right
eyes X'd out.
now. Yeah.
In my head, Frederick is... Oh, man, this is going to be such a weird deep cut, but some people hopefully agree with me. In the Super Mario games, I think this is Super Mario 3 or Super Mario World, you can get, like, a frog suit, and there's a little power-up, and I think that that's what Frederick the Frog looks like in my head, but just with X's over the eyes.
Aw, I love it.
And it's also like the same size as Little Mario, so I think that fits Brandon's law, which is you can punch anything that's
Yeah.
larger than what it should be.
I think that's a good law, Eric. I don't know why you're laughing.
I can be laughing out of joy and mirth and understanding, and that you're the only proper lawmaker in the land
That's true.
being able to say that.
By the way, folks, speaking of merch, all of our Campaign 2 merch is on sale. I said that in a weird cadence. Our Campaign 2 space merch is on sale right now, this month for September, in case you want to pick it up because, I don't know, we may have new things cooking up. May have new campaigns a brewing. We might want to be making some room for some new.
Yeah.
So check it out. jointhepartypod.com/merch.
We might be talking a lot about frogs today, but maybe you want some mountain lobster stuff. Who knows?
Maybe you want an oat cake pin. Maybe you want a pet pile pin or time shark pin.
Time
or,
shark.
I don't know, mountain January dice.
Yeah.
You know, that's when you take your January dice and take them to a mountain and play games with your friends in a cabin.
Yeah. You let the January dice sit under the light of the new moon.
Exactly.
Yeah. You go to Mount Everest, and then apparently it's tradition to just leave your trash everywhere.
Don't do that. No one
Throw
should
it on the
climb Mount
ground.
Everest except for the people who live there.
Yes.
Just throw your January dice on the ground when you're done with it after climbing Mount Everest.
Honestly, Julia, I don't even know if the people that live there should climb it. It seems very dangerous.
I mean, it's a holy mountain to them, so like they could do what they want. It's like, you know, but no one should do it, basically.
Damn, fucking hot take by Julia.
Hot
People who
take.
live in place should be allowed to do whatever they want with own mountain.
Yes. Sorry, guys. I was a little distracted because I'm feeling self-conscious about the Evergreen car air freshener that I plugged into the bathroom. So I'm going to go run and grab that and get some more pretzels for this party here.
It's a Glade. It's an electric Glade. Pickles in the car.
Ooh.
air
Yeah,
freshener.
yeah. It was on sale. I understand why now because the scent is old pickle. So I'm going to be right back.
Hey, it's Eric. I know it is only the beginning of September, but officially fall is here, baby. Okay, in the Northern Hemisphere and where I am in New York City, I understand that fall doesn't actually happen until it gets like below 60 degrees Fahrenheit. And I'm fine with that. I'm fine with calling fall now, though, because now people are talking about fall, and before that bothered me, but now, like, it's part of the conversation, you know, like the fall drinks are out, the fall beers are out, the fall coffee drinks are out, the fall flavored things are out. Like, we're gearing up for it, and I can, like, buy flannels and buy new pants, and the clothes are in. Everyone is on the fall train. The memes are here. I'm saying it's fall. And I think we can all just come along and embrace the fact that it's finally autumn. So welcome to the mid-roll. I'm going to get a pumpkin-flavored something right after this. I would like to take the time also to offer a formal apology to Brampton Grugle when I told him that we did not talk about frog teeth, and he was sure that we did. I was looking at the two different lists that I had about frog facts, and the new one was worded differently, so I didn't understand it, and had this image that I've already tweeted from the Join the Party Twitter account multiple times, showing the frog's maxillary teeth. And I want to apologize to Brandon, and also say frog facts, and share more frog facts with him at all times. If you are part of the ad-free tier, you wouldn't have to hear my apology about me fucking up the frog facts. So you should join our Patreon, patreon.com/jointhepartypod. Shout out to our newest patrons, Punky Goat and Andrew. The party doesn't stop here at the Patreon. You get the Discord, where I have already apologized to Brandon because they might not have heard this because they're ad-free episode tier people. You get party planning, where I also say ridiculous things. The energy of the after party really comes through party planning, which is very, very fun. And you get the video content, so you can see me apologizing to Brandon about frog facts. You can actually see that with our video cameras. You get that at the $10 tier, and there's more and more and more. I want to give a special shout out to the two folks that are at our highest tier who have already played one-on-one games with us. We played one-shots with them, and it has been so much fun. We played a game of Mothman Get Off My Couch Because You've Been Here for Too Long, and we played a game of Battle of the Brontes, where we played a series of sisters who were like the Bronte sisters, who were trying to get some books published, which was very, very fun. Check all that out, patreon.com/jointhepartypod. It is a great day to check out another show here at the Multitude Collective. I want to give a shout out this week to Queer Movie Podcast. Pretty self-explanatory. It is a queer movie watch party hosted by everyone's favorite British people, Rowan Ellis, Jazza John, and the Queen of England. Nope, that last one's incorrect. Just Rowan Ellis and Jazza John. Join them as they research and rate their way through the queer film canon, one genre at a time. From rom-coms to slashers, contemporary art house cinema to black and white classics, Queer Movie Podcast is a celebration of all things gay on the silver screen. They've also touched on some things that, because movies are TV, and TV are movies, they've also touched on some things you might see on your little silver screen, like things you might find on a streamer or on Netflix. Their episode on Fire Island was particularly wonderful, and I really, really like that because I think Joel Kim Booster is goddamn fucking talented. So I really like listening to that podcast. Tune in every other Thursday for new episodes. Also, Julia edits it, so you should listen to it. We are sponsored this week by Inked Gaming. Everyone has a go-to shop where they get their mouse pads, their playmats, their dice bags, and other essential gaming goods. But your local friendly game store might be really far away, or having a Magic tournament right now, or don't have the things that you're looking for. So you can always check out Inked Gaming. They are a one-stop shop on the internet built by and for people who love games. One very cool thing they do is make custom products that you can personalize with your own unique designs. So if you're looking for a gift for your game night crew, your GM, your friend, or just want a way to make your own gaming setup a little cooler, you gotta check them out. And just to sweeten the deal for Join the Party listeners, they have given us a 10% discount code to give to you. Just go to inkedgaming.com/jointheparty and use promo code jointheparty at checkout. That discount will then automatically apply to your order. That is inkedgaming.com/jointheparty and use promo code jointheparty for 10% off at Inked Gaming. And finally, a word from our sponsor, BetterHelp. Therapy is a really useful tool when there are problems in your life you're not really sure how to solve. Maybe you called the director at your camp mom, or maybe you've come on too strong because camp is the only thing that gives you any sort of purpose in life, and you are a teenager and you don't really know what that means just yet. But maybe you think that magic is real, and that's not okay with you because magic shouldn't be real, only Bigfoots. Or maybe it's an issue with your friends, your family, or a relationship that's weighing heavy on your mind. If you want someone to help you out instead of turning that idea over and over and over and over and over in your head, therapy can help you out. Visit betterhelp.com/jointheparty today for 10% off your first month. That's betterhelp.com/jointheparty. And now, back to the show.
I would like to say I did recently have a pine shandy at Blue Point Brewery, and it was so good.
That sounds like some real Julia shit.
Oh, yeah. Some of my favorite beers are pine.
Yeah.
What does that taste like?
Pine.
It just like has a little bit of like, you know, like the
Wait,
juniper
Brandon, did
flavor.
you say pine?
Yes, he did.
You fucker.
That's what it tastes like.
I don't know, but like, what does that mean? I don't know whether, is it like you go out and you shove an air freshener in your mouth?
No, so you know like the juniper flavor. Also, the thing that's in the seed bank, seeds.
Yes.
Fuck
I
you
was
guys
thinking about it too.
incredibly much.
It's like that juniper flavor of gin, I think, on kind of like that back end where it's like it tastes piney. I don't have any other word to really describe it, but it had like just a little bit of that plus the like lemon flavor of the shandy. It was delicious.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
it's. I didn't mean to be an asshole. It's like it tastes like pine smells. It's just very like it's like a very very background note. So it's pleasant.
Subtle.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
In the way that like lavender or rose soften like a
Exactly.
back.
I also had a mint lager recently and it was fucking dope. I was like, this is weird as hell and I love it.
That sounds good.
Very cool.
This is related to the fact that Helen Rosner tweeted out looking for tomato scented candles, and I was like, "What tomato scented candles? You're not going to get any responses."
There's
and then
a lot.
And then of course she got like 50, and they all look insane.
Do they all look like tomatoes?
No, I
They
wish.
should.
No, because Brandon, they're like $50 from artisanal candle
Yeah,
makers,
always.
and they're just like so wild. The descriptions just overwhelmed me, but I wanted to share that.
You know, Eric, you could add one to the registry. I'm sure some people would want to buy you a tomato scented candle.
That's true. Let's see if Zola has tomato scented candle.
If you don't get it for the wedding, happy Hanukkah in the future.
I don't know if I want that. Do I want tomato smell?
I think Eric does want tomato smell.
I think
is what
you
I've
do,
heard.
probably.
I think it's a good novelty gift, even if you don't like the tomato smell. He'd be
Yeah.
like, look at this candle I have. It smells like tomatoes.
No, you're right.
No,
I
that's
think
pretty
that's
cool.
true. I think I really threw myself into tomatoes too hard in August. Was like I spent 6 weeks, probably the 6 weeks from the middle of July to like last week, looking for tomatoes, and I feel like I really burned myself out. That like it's the only good thing that ever existed in August. And then I made tomato water, and it was just like there was too much tomato taste in my mouth. Even though it was it was pretty good. It was pretty good marg. It's just like, I think I blew out my umami factor in my tongue. We're also allowed to say umami now because it's been like a year since we said it on Head Hard Cut.
I think by the time December rolls around, you'll be like, man, I wish I had a fresh tomato. And then you'll sniff that little candle and be like, tomatoes.
All right, Julia, get me a tomato candle for Hanukkah, please.
I'm writing it down
Thank
so that
you.
I remember to do that.
Okay, thank you.
I have like a list. Like I always go an ongoing list for holiday gifts because like I'm like, well, in the future, I'm not going to remember this. But if I write it down when I do my holiday shopping, I'll remember it.
I don't know why it took me till I was like 22 or something to start doing that, but it saved my life.
Hell yeah.
I have the same note it's the same note for all the years, then I just start a new thing. So I can check if I bought my dad this like dad Leatherman, because there are 5 gifts for dads and a Leatherman is one of them.
Yeah, that's true.
Correct.
What size Leatherman are we getting your dad this year?
How
I know.
many inches is that knife?
It's about the size of a roasted chicken.
Every time we borrow his car, if he's like on vacation or hanging out, like at the beach, we'll borrow his car sometimes. And I'm just like, what's that rattling sound? I look down, 3 Leathermen in the door, 2 in the cup holder,
naturally.
1 in the glove box, 1 in the back seat, 1 in the trunk, 1 attached to the cooler to open stuff. You wonder why I am like I am. That's the answer.
It makes sense.
If you didn't know what a Leatherman was, when you heard the phrase Leatherman, it would sound super gay.
I was all morning researching like radical sex shops for ads for You Are Good. So my screen was covered in men in leather. It was really entertaining.
Yeah.
Is that like it's fresh on Rotten Tomatoes? Like it's radical, so it's like 4 out of 5 stars.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
All right, folks, it is time to talk about our newest mystery, the Stakeout. Dun dun dun. I loved this title.
Thank you. I also want to clarify, it was not a mystery because I didn't have anything planned.
Right, you're right. This mini arc. And Eric, we do have a couple of items here just to kind of address right off the bat, so you have the opportunity to like address the people you harmed. And
That's true. When I did reveal my secret at the end, all 3 of you looked at me like I had told you smell this old milk.
Yep. This is from Paul. Eric said none of the stakeout was planned, but I have to know if the hill thing was something he already had in his back pocket or if it was completely spur of the moment, because it really feels like, and then in all caps, a big thing with ramifications. I agree, Paul.
Well, Paul, here's the bad news. Eric made it up.
That's true. I did make it up. I don't know. Like, what do you want me? Again, this is another thing where I'm not sure how much I can say. I wanted there to be whatever is in the cliffside is something I was toying with and wanted to exist. However, I did not know where it would be or what it would be. So I did. Yes, Brandon, that's true. I did make it up.
What I kind of got from that was like, you have things that are happening in the background and it's up to us to explore those things in order for them to be revealed. Am I right on that?
Yeah, that's definitely true. And that's something that is true in all the campaigns. For Monster of the Week, though, I don't think it benefits me at all to have the details of everything written down, because then it's like, what am I supposed to do? Like either it's something I've written down and you need to figure it out like it's an escape room, or then I'm like, fuck, I gotta throw this out and figure out something else. So it's like, well, I didn't want there to be a secret that the director had somewhere, but like, let's say that secret room could have been anywhere.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like the door could have been anywhere, but the fact that Les was in the woods looking for this stuff, that the Stone Johnnies were involved, I think kind of led me to that area, and then I kind of had this Breath of the Wild image in my head, or like in Elden Ring, how all of a sudden you like see a cave that you can just walk into. It's something that I really wanted to incorporate. So I don't know. Like, again, it's not that I don't think about this stuff and prep it all the time, and maybe that's what makes you all upset at my milk molds that I'm showing all of you.
Thank you.
But it's like I do want this stuff to happen, but for Monster of the Week, it just doesn't benefit me at all to write it down in any sort of concrete way.
Sure.
That makes sense.
Yeah, your brain just works differently than mine does, and that's aggressive towards me. It's a threat. It's a threat towards my
existence. Thing.
And it's me telling Brandon, you're fucking stupid. Everything you do and think is bad. I hate you.
Well, speaking of our brains working differently, Brandon, I do have a question sort of...
this is what Brandon spends his brain power doing instead.
Eric, who with our community manager, Rue, gathers the questions for these after parties, has subtitled this section, "In the future, someone needs to tell me when I'm explicitly doing a supernatural." Brandon, would you care to comment to the people you've harmed, because Sarah Barra had a screen cap of it, so it existed.
Oh, yeah. I mean, this is a basic beginner 101 supernatural. If you were a capital T, capital F true fan trademark. So no Laurens need apply.
Shit.
Damn.
Okay, guys, I'm going to summon the coffee ghost.
I literally have a marker in my Pro Tools right now where I need to cut the part where the coffee goes to the coffee. No, it's like I always forget what season it is, but it's in the like within the first 4, probably 2 or 3, or maybe the end of 1 even, where it's the literal first episode where Cass is introduced. Spoilers: Dean goes to hell, he dies, and Cass gets introduced.
Yeah.
So it's the beginning of season 4, Brandon.
Thank you. I always get that wrong. So Dean goes to hell, and then Cass pulls him from perdition, and so he has a literal like hand mark on his shoulder where he was pulled from perdition. And
news to me.
Yeah, and that's where Cass was like all cool and like hardcore Misha Collins, and then he gets less so. He gets all soft and queer and kind later.
Canonically queer? Non-canonically queer?
Unclear. I think canonically
or unqueer. Woo! Happy Pride! Every month is Pride.
My interpretation, and from what Misha has said, I think Cass is canonically queer of some kind. He's an angel, so it's hard to say like what it is.
Not restricted to our earthly binary.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I didn't know that, so
But
so
definitely not textually. They are is the Castine thing real? But
Got it.
you could read into it if you want to.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay, so now here's my question, Julia. In the writing of that move you got, is there stuff about that? Like, why did I think tattoo?
Well, it says that if I roll middling, I do the healing, but it leaves a nasty scar.
Okay, so now here's the thing. This is what I wanted to put together. They fucking knew that and had evil hat. Like they did that to me.
Yeah. Did you not think that was a direct reference?
Well, I didn't know enough information to know that the move was a direct reference.
I don't know if it's a direct reference, but it's
No, I'm
definitely
sure.
like-
No, I think it is.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
So that one comes from the Hex playbook, and I don't think the Hex is pulling from Supernatural in that way. I think it's just legit like, oh, you can do some like incredibly painful healing and it's gonna leave like a gnarly ass scar on you, but at least you're not dead.
Yeah, it's certainly a trope in lots and lots of fantasy, sci-fi, all kinds of genre fiction that, you can come back, but you're not exactly as you were before.
Right.
Sure.
I'm just saying that like anything that's a reference is probably a reference. in
Yeah,
Monster of the
we're all
Week.
big nerds here in Monster of the Week.
Oh yeah, I've seen a lot of references already, like reading the playbooks. There's definitely are some.
Brandon, you have to tell me if it's a supernatural.
Well, that's the only Supernatural we've done so far.
Okay. Gotta keep an eye out, bud.
I didn't mention it in the episode because none of you would know, except for Julia, wouldn't know what the fuck I was talking about.
Well, we have to at least do a knowing wink. We can leave it in, but we have to do a little
I
wink.
mean, there's probably a move called "Carry-On My Wayward Son" or some
I
shit.
know.
Like it's probably in
The
there.
Impala, am I right?
I used my one reference. That was my one token.
The Impala is the other one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The Impala has a fucking name, Amanda. Get out of here.
Does it?
Sorry,
Is
I'm
it
not a true
is
fan.
it Beverly?
Is it Gertrude?
Is it Carrie?
It's baby. It's baby.
It's called Baby.
The name of the car is Baby.
The name of the car is Baby? Do better, Supernatural. Do better.
I don't like that.
All right. Our other excellently titled subheader here is the episodes were all about the campers having a purpose. Eric, do you want to tell us a little bit about what that means?
Yeah, that's just something that I noticed about you all putting this together and the things that you all wanted. Someone telling Phoebe that she was a chosen one, I think, and that guy being a fucking dick and then saying, no, you're not at the end is probably shaking Phoebe's confidence.
Mm-hmm.
Everything dealing with Carrie-Ann, whatever Carrie-Ann needs to actually do to become or adhere to like the goal of being the best staff member ever, I think is being shaken. And then Les figuring out like, what are monsters? Are all monsters bad? Are all people who have magic bad? Are monsters good or bad? The thing that they've been following the entire time, I think is starting to be up for debate here. And I think all of you have been trying to figure that out during these two episodes, and that was fun to push on and see.
Mm-hmm. Totally. I didn't put that theme together, but having you explain it to us now, I think makes total sense. And let's get into the Les and Phoebe of it all. We have a lot of really thoughtful questions here, starting with the question surgeon, Michelle Spurgeon. Did Les only believe in cryptids and not magic? She wants to know. Does that explain his reaction to Phoebe? So, Brandon, can you take us a little bit through kind of Les's reaction to Phoebe's magic and why for him it is so different to the, kind of joyful possibility of cryptids existing?
Yeah, Brandon, tell us why Les is making Phoebe feel bad.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely the case. Yeah, like when I was building the character, I purposely looked for, I have a list, note stock of like, I say this with giant air quotes, but like possible cryptid things or possible mysterious things, like things that are more like nature-based, like odd nature things.
Cryptozoology as opposed to like supernatural.
Exactly. Like a Bigfoot could exist. There's no reason why it couldn't, except for like, biological reproductive factors, but like it doesn't. Like it just, we've never seen one. Versus like ghosts, like we don't have any evidence and there's no like even way that they could exist,
Sure, Brandon.
Just as an example, I'm not picking those two out specifically, but
This is what Les says. This is what Les is saying. Brandon's not saying
Yeah,
that.
exactly,
Brandon
exactly.
super loves ghosts, and there's a ghost that lives in his house.
yeah.
Yeah,
That's
and
true.
it makes coffee all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So does Les just kind of want like one scratch off level of like supernatural? Like he wants things to be like plausible but not proven, like a species we haven't discovered but makes sense how it could exist. Is that kind of what you're saying?
Yes, plausible is the word I was looking for. Thank you. So yeah, in his head it is definitely like a conflict, a contradiction, where in his like brain, like his logical brain, he wants to find these things because it's fun, and like when you're a kid you want to find aliens, but like when you're confronted with the actual alien in your yard that landed in front of you, like you're scared shitless, right? So that's kind of what's happening. So yeah, I would say like definitely he didn't think magic as like a, you know, Disney magic kind of vibe existed, but even like the plausible stuff, when confronted with it, it's still scary.
And Paul wanted to know, Brandon, did you always plan on Les having this negative response to finding genuine supernatural stuff, or is that how it kind of ended up playing out in session?
No, I think it just ended up playing out. I tried to, you know, I'm trying to inhabit a teenager's viewpoint, and I think they would be terrified no matter how big they try to appear to be. Teenagers and kids are scared of things.
I think we had talked about a while ago when we were trying to figure out Les's stuff. Like, we were kicking around Ancient Aliens a bunch, and it's like Les liked the idea that aliens existed because aliens live on other planets and we live on a planet. But it's like, well, I don't like examining any of the other things about ancient aliens because that's all wrong and stupid, and that's
and racist.
Incorrect. Yes, and it's incorrect. So I think that's kind of like the divide. There's like a real dividing line there.
Yeah. Totally. That's also my personal belief. Aliens exist out there in the universe and also have not visited us.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, but Brandon, what about Leonardo da Vinci? How have you considered the fucking Egyptians, my man?
I know, Eric, that we saw Nope this summer. I don't know if anybody else on the call has.
Not yet. I want to, though.
But I recommend seeing it at like a drive-in movie theater. It was sick to see it like in a big
that's a
screen
great
outdoors.
idea.
It was awesome. And less scary that way. But B, I think being as vague as possible, because I do think it's really worth seeing without knowing a lot of context about it. I like that it kind of got at the question of how biologically would extraterrestrials be? Like what form of an alien would be most freaky to us? Like how actually would we interact that isn't like a total humanoid just, you know, in neon green, like in a ship that resembles planes? Like what are other forms of aliens that aren't kind of all drawing on this collective image that, you know, we learned as a North American society in, you know, the mid sort of 1900s?
Yeah, like we would lose our shit if we saw an alien that wasn't the little green man. Or the little gray man.
Yeah.
Sem would like to know, what would it take for Les to trust Phoebe again? Does he not trust all monsters for a specific reason? And Cat Owl Dolls said, when will Les stop breaking my heart with his distrust of Phoebe?
The answer to the latter question is never. That's what we call emotional resonance and storytelling, baby.
Hell
Wow.
Yeah. Woo!
And then the answer to the first question is, who can say? We'll find out.
Yeah. I am also interested about Assistant Director Z as well, because in the new cabin, Assistant Director Z gave Les a bunch of like adult to teenage advice and a cool new weapon. And then the first thing that Les does was like, this guy's a fucking werewolf. I'm tracking him.
Brandon, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Why is Les so convinced that ADZ is a werewolf specifically?
Well, one, because Les is an idiot.
Okay.
But two, in like the first or second episode, Eric described ADZ as like a big guy with sharp teeth. So either vampire or werewolf, you know?
Right. Those are the only two options.
What other things have sharp teeth, Julia? Shark? Is he a shark?
I'm just saying, I think if we've learned anything from the way that Eric is presenting these mysteries, it's that whatever the obvious clue is, it's like a mislead.
Oh, yeah, no, sorry. Brandon knows he's not a werewolf. Because I've also asked multiple times in the book, like, what are some things that are in the books that werewolf says? And Eric says, probably not werewolf.
I have a theory as to what ADZ is, but I'm not going to say it. And I'm just going to keep it close to my heart and see if it happens.
I'm putting this out there in the universe right now. $2 on he's just a guy with sharp teeth, with sharp canines.
Okay. I also want to say you have not rolled well enough whenever you check the book on ADZ to give you I think you kept getting middling rolls.
Yeah.
So I don't think that you found anything or ADZ didn't do anything that would trigger those ideas. There's also a thing that we're figuring out. I think this is really the conflict between Monster of the Week, the game, and it's very funny. Your book of monster shit, or Les's book of monster shit, is like the things that we all think we know about monsters may or may not be true as soon as we apply them practically.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's kind of very interesting in terms of what Les knows. And as that revealed itself with roles, like a bunch of your moves and a bunch of the moves that you also can get are like about your experience and whether or not you think that thing is true or not.
Right.
Or I've seen this or I've heard this. Is that true? Is that not true? And I find that very interesting in terms of like our larger conversation of monsters, this game itself that we're playing, Monster of the Week that we're playing like a monster hunting game. I all find that very interesting, and Les's character is quite metatextual.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, audience listeners, don't forget that the book is just a collection of other people's experiences with these things, so it doesn't necessarily mean it's correct.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Charles Fort's is also just a fucking dude.
Just a guy.
Charles Fort was a werewolf, though. Definitely, 100%.
That's
Wow.
true. He just lived 100 years ago, so everyone just thought he was like an angel or some shit.
Yeah.
He was just Catholic.
Big mood.
Truly, adulthood has been me figuring out that everybody's just a dude. Casey, 3 kobolds in a trench coat, wants to know, will Les investigate his own supernaturality instead of everyone else?
That he could sprint unholily fast.
Yes?
I mean, I don't think unless confronted with it, I don't think so. Because, yeah, he just thinks he's like, oh, fuck, sick, I'm the best athlete in all of town.
So many years of rock climbing, and now I can move at supernatural speed. Seems normal.
Hey, man, wasn't that was like being a teenager, that all of a sudden you could run 15 miles per hour and jump over a fence easy?
I was going to say, so far, is it puberty? Is it supernatural occurrences? We're really not sure much of the time, so.
That is the big vibe.
Yeah. I think it is also important to note that the No Limits move specifically says it's like to the limit of your physical ability, not supernatural ability. So it's like if you were trying to free someone from under a car and you suddenly got, jolts of adrenaline and were able to lift the car just enough to get them out. That's the kind of thing versus, flying or whatever.
Les has mom adrenaline. Got it.
Yep.
Yeah. Imagine you're all kids under the van that Les is trying to carry.
And of course, Carrie-Ann went through it a little bit as well in these episodes. TJ said, regarding Carrie-Ann and the director's relationship, does she put up with Carrie-Ann because she sees a bit of herself in the young CIT?
What do you think?
I think the director, like most people looking at Carrie-Ann, sees someone with undiluted essence of like their true self and impulses. Like, it is uncut by anything, baby, and that is hard to look at like the sun, because so much of the world of being raised, however particularly you were socialized, like comes out in, tone it down, fit in, figure it out, don't draw attention to yourself. And Carrie-Ann, for whatever reason, is like, why not, why wouldn't I? And I think that sets off a self-protective urge in everyone around her.
I would also hope that adults, like they're at least adults at camp, are like their default instinct is like support this child,
Well, the director said explicitly, like, Carrie-Ann, you when you grow up, whether or not you remember this conversation, TBD, but like you will probably have the experience of looking at someone like you and then sort of having to figure out what to do.
Yeah, I think the director is a really complicated figure. Someone who's just trying to run camp and is overwhelmed by everything, and then there's this person standing in front of her who's just like, I know I'm supposed to teach you, and I know I'm supposed to nurture you, and you are the perfect candidate to be staff, but like, God, you're so fucking annoying sometimes when I'm overwhelmed.
Eric, did you happen to be a professional teacher for several years and have some kind of resonance with this?
Yeah, maybe I did. Director Lowe is just really fun. And I like her, and it was fun being able to like try to explain. It's hard to try to explain society to children.
Yeah, it is.
And that was kind of that entire thing, is like, this is where we are. This is what's happening. This place is weird, and we can't really do anything about it other than continue to run camp because people keep showing up at camp.
I think that means that society is wrong and bad if we can't explain it to a child. So maybe we should fix that.
Interesting.
What do y'all think?
Yeah, I'll make sure to have a heavy-handed metaphor later on in some episodes.
A bold choice.
All right, getting into some general game and character questions. A lot of really good ones, guys. You've been really coming through with these questions. Thank you. This one comes from Paul. I noticed a bit of an upping of the stakes with this new cabin arc between the monster actually seeming to have kills before they got to it and the mortal danger really being felt for Phoebe and Carrie-Ann. Is there any reason behind dialing things up a notch at this point?
Correct me if I'm wrong, Eric, but didn't the, not CITs, but like the folks die because we like lollygagged?
Which?
The people in the gelatinous cube that we ran into?
Oh, yeah. No, they put themselves into like some real horror movie danger.
Okay.
You know, like I kind of just needed to
Yeah.
sacrifice them to demonstrate that this was some bad news. And also like the girl who lost a foot, that was kind of just for funsies. And it was cauterized. It was more like, you know, when you look at a cartoon wound and it's just like meat and a bone in it. Like, that's what I was thinking. Yeah, I really wanted to push the danger a little bit more. I mean, I feel like I had tried to allude to some of like the danger and violence in the earlier episodes. Maybe we forgot about it because Zev was such a sweet boy.
No, yeah.
But like, remember when Jane's leg was extremely broken and only by the skin of everyone's teeth that you were able to get out of that fight without getting hurt? Carrie-Ann slashed herself with a knife multiple times, which was
That did
wild.
happen.
Mm-hmm.
Which letter of the alphabet did he resemble after that, Eric, was it?
Oh, the letter K was the letter K. Thank you.
Never forget it. It's a K.
It was letter K. So I had been trying to do that, but I did think that this was particularly dangerous because you were on the monster's turf. You were unprepared. It had the upper hand on you, and also I got better at running Monster of the Week games.
Yeah. Wee.
We got better at playing, too, so.
Moss and Lena are both kind of like, has camp always been this unsafe? And Lena, connector of dots, specifically said, how is camp not getting shut down? Like, do they bribe the police? Is there still some anti-investigation magic? What is happening?
I think this is a who can say, right?
Who can say, man?
I mean, like, I don't want to. You want me to tell you the reason and ruin the genre? It's just like
No.
it is what it is, you know.
But thematic. So we're peppering in the who can says, like when you season each step of your recipe before finally seasoning the product at the end. You know,
We're sweating out our alliums right now.
exactly, exactly. Michelle Spurgeon asked if Carrie-Ann Camp is losing any of her fervor for future camp life, knowing how supernatural it really is. And I think Carrie-Ann's journey this summer has turned out to be like, I think I know better than the adults. Wait, maybe I don't know better than the adults. Wait, do I know better than the adults? Like, that is kind of what I feel her struggling with as more secrets come out. I think ultimately, you know, this was a big summer for her. She got the transition from being a camper to being a CIT. Like, this is the liminal transitory year where you are, you know, not quite counselor, but certainly not a camper anymore. And so it makes sense that she learns new stuff, right? That like there are revelations and she's like seeing behind the scenes, got to go to camp early, sleeping in a new place, all of that is exciting. And I don't think anything could kind of dissuade her from thinking that camp is a worthy project and goal of learning. But she is certainly like fairly freaked out by the sort of laissez-faire nature with which the director is approaching these dangers to camp and the campers.
That's my favorite Britney Spears song is Not a Camper, Not Yet a CIT.
It's true. It's true.
Here's a question I want to kick around. How weird do you think it always was at camp? Do you think that this summer is any weirder than any other summer? Maybe you're just looking at it a little harder because it's your job to clean this stuff up.
I imagine that because we are in charge of everything, we're seeing all of the dots together, whereas before we might have just like had one weird experience in a cabin or something, you know?
Yeah, like I imagine kids like happily making macaroni necklaces as like, you know, the Alicanto is like tearing up a cabin next door. Like they're, you know, no one else kind of sees the overview, I think, the way that we are now. But my headcanon at least is that, yeah, it's always been this much. Disaster is always kind of almost averted or happens in small ways. And we're like, oh yeah, that cabin's out of bounds. Or like, oh yeah, stargazing is canceled this you know, evening. And as campers, we're like, okay, like, can I have marshmallows and run off to the next thing?
Yeah, I think there's a certain like level of childhood unawareness of bad things happening around you. And I think that now that we are metaphorically and literally shifting into adulthood by becoming CITs, the characters are now seeing not through the rose-tinted glasses of, you know, being a carefree child.
Yeah, I agree. That's what I think. I also think about sometimes like, when did Phoebe meet Charles? Yeah, I think about that shit a lot.
Mhm.
I wonder about like the other weird stuff that like maybe only Les noticed and then wrote down in a journal, and then some counselor was like, "You're such a fucking weirdo," and then I don't know. I agree. There's a lot of stuff that I feel like you just don't see, much like becoming a staff member or working with something. You see behind the scenes and you see all the seams, which is, in this case is weird shit.
Totally. I have a request here from Christian the Just Okay. Can we get a present Mike impression from John Bones Bones? What does this mean?
This is a My Hero Academia thing.
Okay.
And basically, yeah, there's one character who just like does all the announcements, and that's his superpower. That's his quirk. So I found this one quote from like his Wikipedia thing, and I wanted to do this as John Bones Bones. The great hero Napoleon Bonaparte once said, "True heroism consists in being superior to the ills of life. Plus ultra, break a leg, everyone."
What the fuck?
Incredible. Thank you.
Jesus
Thank
Christ.
you.
There's no reason why Bones just isn't a fan of My Hero Academia. So
He also might be.
I'm just gonna give you that little treat.
We don't know if we exist in an age that My Hero Academia exists, though,
Exactly.
Brandon.
Is television even invented?
Kids just say plus ultra to each other. It's very funny.
Yeah.
J Factorial wants to know, did anyone consider other playbooks for their characters before the summer season began? Personally, I think Carrie-Ann could take some moves from the Meddling Kid playbook, not the narrative-breaking ones, of course, and it wouldn't be too out of place.
Yes.
Tell us.
Well, kind of. So my original plan, and I remember messaging Eric about that, I'm like, what if I lied to Amanda and Brandon and said that I had the chosen playbook, but it was really the spooky the whole time? And he's
You
like,
son of a bitch.
that would be complicated. I was like, fair enough.
It's just not, it doesn't work as well in
Right.
a PBTA thing where it's like, I'm saying I'm a wizard, but really I'm a warlock.
Right.
Like that, it just doesn't, it would be too confusing. And also it would be like, you fuckers, you don't know how playbooks work in a new game we just started.
Yes. I decided, yeah, I agree, it was too mean. But I was like, but what to if?
I think being more familiar with the system, like if you did that in sort of our second campaign, I'd be like, tight. But yeah, I would have been like, I didn't know.
I started looking at some of the things. J Factorial pointed the Meddling Kid playbook to me, which is the person, Michael Sands, who made Monster of the Week. Then on his personal website came up with a bunch of new playbooks in 2020 that were not published yet. There is another book coming out soonish from that's another Monster of the Week supplement, so I don't know if that's going to be in there. So that includes the Meddling Kids. There's some other ones in there, like someone who's out of time, which is actually pretty funny. Like someone from like ancient Greece is just there.
Cool.
That's a playbook. Is very cool. And it's like, again, these playbooks are character archetypes, so it's like you'd have to change pretty much everything about them. I don't love the Meddling Kid playbook because it's all Scooby-Doo, and then it's like that really changes the composition of your monster hunting team, and then it's like you're trying to smash up different archetypes, and this is a Monster of the Week problem. This is not a J Factorial problem. This is like you're smashing up different shows together and trying to run a game about it. Like imagine you had like Buffy Summers, Velma, and like a hardcore monster hunter.
Eric,
in
you're
there
just
at the same
describing
time.
AO3.
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
It doesn't necessarily fit because all the themes aren't together.
Right.
And like the meddling, and there's also like a sidekick, which is always weird for me. Powered by the Apocalypse games always has like a sidekick or like usually has like a sidekick or like a secondary character being attached to another character, and like I never know why anyone would want to play that. So it made you feel really infantile and like you were a younger brother or younger sister attached to somebody else.
I can think of some players that would get a kick out of that, to be honest.
Or maybe you
but-
are literally playing with a sibling and you want to like swap roles or something.
Yeah.
Oh, like the older sibling is the younger one.
Yeah.
That sounds fun, but definitely for our purposes of this narrative, I
Sure.
think we ended up all, and like there's a reason why we talked about our playbooks and like chose them with Eric and like ran through it before we started the campaign, because it's definitely important to do that on your own, but specifically for like making a narrative podcast, we also want to make sure that it's balanced and interesting and no one's move can like break the game.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with you, Amanda, but we've never been balanced before in any of our
No,
party
Brandon, no one's a
compositions.
healer. I've never heard of that before.
Yeah. And
I
no
don't
one.
know. I think season 2 was pretty balanced.
Yeah, notoriously have a healer on the team that didn't heal. I guess that was just my fault.
I think that was a choice.
Hey, why would Eric do this and not balance our party? What a fucking dick.
Why would he allow a healer on the team and then that healer just never heals?
Yeah.
Why would
fair,
Eric do that?
I could heal, and then I touched the seas of time.
That's
so,
true.
You know.
That's your fault for touching the seas of time. No, I just I don't know why I would intentionally play a game where I'm an inferior character to another one. That's me, maybe my thoughts of wanting to play that thing. But like there's a lot of playbooks that are like that like intentionally make you like to another player character. I don't know. I don't know if I would ever want to do that, like in narratively intentionally put myself in lower status like that.
Totally valid.
Anyway, the point is that I don't think that some of these archetypes don't fit together, and especially those ones that Michael Sands made. So like I like that you can take moves from other places and it feels really resonant, and then it's like, oh, I'm just gonna like throw another color into my archetype instead of like fully pivoting to the left or right.
It's a mechanic I really love and have made use of in this campaign. Moving into a few questions about podcasting and IRL, us as people. Vidalia Rose wanted to know, how much of your younger selves did you put into your characters? I feel like all of the best friends are perfect archetypes of me and my 2 most constant friends growing up.
80%.
Yeah, I said last after party, I think like Carrie-Ann is really what I would have been unchecked, and or maybe my fears or hopes for my younger self. But it's been fun. I didn't quite as always, I kind of follow my instincts with character creation. Then by the end of the campaign, I look back and I'm like, oh, how revealing! And that sure enough has happened again.
I think for me, it's like the opposite. It's like the kids I admired in high school or middle school. Just like really just charismatic, super easygoing, really skilled kids, you know?
Yeah.
And Eric, who are you drawing from as you approach the fellow CIT NPCs, counselors, campers, kind of archetypes that you can identify?
Who's your self-insert, Eric?
I don't have a self-insert in
Eric
this
is
one.
Tater Tot.
Yeah, I'm Tater
That's
Tot.
true.
Yeah, I actually don't have a self-insert in this campaign. I think I would have been closer to Carrie-Ann. I mean, like, I went to summer camp for like 13 summers in a row, and then I was a staff member for 5 of those summers, and I was the head staff of the oldest age group. So it's like I was really into it for a while, and then I just stopped doing it. So I definitely feel like I was bought in for a very long time, and then I kind of just got disillusioned with the whole thing as I kind of like. Just kind of happened to me when I was like 23. I looked around and I'm like, oh, fuck. Shit, goddamn. So I don't know if I have anyone. I feel like I'm pulling a lot from the archetypes that you would find in a show like this. Is like, I really do imagine this like it's a cartoon that exists in like the golden age of a Cartoon Network in like the mid 2000s, you know?
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I'm pulling from.
So you're saying you're not Frederick the Frog? That's not your self-insert?
No, Frederick sucks. Brandon, one of these days, you're going to realize that my NPCs are not me. I'm going to show you all of them and be like, that's not me, I think he sucks. That's not me, I think he sucks. That's not me, I think he sucks.
Just on a
like,
big
I'm gonna do
whiteboard
it.
behind you.
Yeah, but all of my NPCs from all of the campaigns, I'm going to be like, none of these are me. It's not me.
Okay.
There's 2 circles on the board. One is Eric's NPCs and the other one is Eric.
They
So
don't overlap
dissimilar.
at all.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, Laura would like to know, what is your fan cast for the best friends and other major characters in this campaign? I'm curious to see if they match mine.
Ooh.
When I was thinking about this, I don't think you necessarily have to do actors who are contemporary, because like who the fuck knows actors on Euphoria, you know, or other teens. But if there's someone who is a young person from older movies, I think we can do them in that time, because I'm like, man, I really want Anthony Michael Hall from The Breakfast Club to like be one of these fucking NPCs that I was thinking about.
Well, great news, Eric. When you Google kid actors, which I just did and then immediately regret, the first 3 are Macaulay Culkin, who is a grown man, Lindsay Lohan, a grown woman, and Jacob Tremblay, who played the kid in Room, who must now be a teenager. So not great.
So I have been thinking about this since I saw this question, and I think that Phoebe is a mashup of me as a 13-year-old and also like very early Maisie Williams in Game of Thrones.
Oh, that's
cute.
a good one.
Yeah, that's really good.
Yeah, Maisie Williams would crush that from like the first season when she didn't know how to do anything.
Yeah, bless her.
Like, hell yeah. Now I'm imagining Phoebe with fucking Maisie Williams' accent.
Just not British. Anything but British.
I think for Carrie-Ann, someone in the Discord said that all my characters have red hair. It's true. I want to have red hair as a kid, and here we are. But I'm imagining kind of like a Miranda Cosgrove, like Rebecca Black direction for Carrie-Ann. But
you could have done Miranda Cosgrove from School of Rock.
Yeah.
When she was like super uptight. Yeah.
I
same
think
energy.
I think that's what I'm picturing.
That's good.
I think if anyone has a better one, let me know, because I'm always notoriously bad at these. But I think as far as actual kids, like Caleb McLoughlin, is that how you say his last name? Is it McLoughlin from Stranger Things?
Yeah,
would be good. So also like Joe Carey from Stranger Things as like not a douche.
I was really picturing like very like Gilmore Girls era Jensen.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Or like
that would have been great.
Taron Egerton, like a kind of big guy, but not like a Wolverine big like he is recently.
There are a bunch of like, you know how all of those actors who and then got really famous were like all in The Outsiders? Like, I'm sure like one of those guys could be in there, or like super young Emilio Estevez when he was in that. When he was in that could be
a lot
good.
of British Skins cast are also like
the guys from Skins,
famous.
yeah, those could be sick. Oh, you know who would be super great? Fucking the guy who's now super hot and was the Green Knight who was in Skins.
Yeah.
Oh, Dev Patel.
Dev Patel's always been super hot, excuse you.
Yes.
But in Skins, he was just like big and gangly. It's good. Martin Starr was also super big and gangly, but I think he's a little too nerdy for Les there.
I think you guys are thinking of Les as too gangly, as too skinny.
But he's so tall.
That's why I'm saying I think what's his face in Gilmore Girls, was a little bit broad, was a little tall, and like has the look of a teen who's going to be like a pretty built man, but he's not quite there yet.
That's
true. I agree with you on that one. But I think Dev Patel is a little bit too skinny.
He's pretty jacked now.
Like going back to older actors who then played teens, I'm thinking like a young Matthew Lillard would be a really good Les.
Also pretty skinny, but maybe slightly wider. Yeah.
Wow, what a pull.
Right?
But yeah, not a bad one. I like it.
Matthew Lillard in Hackers too. Like, imagine Les got super into Night in the Matrix at some point, and then became him in Hackers.
And we got our Scooby-Doo connection, so that's really good, Julia.
That's good.
I also have a question here from El Silvero on Twitter. Is that right? Saying,
oh, that sounds like someone's name as if they're a Lucha Libre wrestler.
That's a cool name.
It does. It sounds like when I brought my fiance Eric to meet my Aunt Patsy, she said, "Oh, El Silvero," because she knew his Instagram handle. Who says, "Can we chart Amanda's character's increasing unhingedness from Inara Preserver, the agent from the comic book one-shots, who, as you recall, is Agent Smith,
Forgot about
Multi-Tool, Dr. Bertha Bones, and Carrie-Ann."
Here's my thought. There is
Eric, you want to comment on?
Yeah,
El
I don't want to comment
question?
on this.
Okay,
There's a graph, right? And the x-axis is going from chaotic to lawful, while the y-axis is unhingedness. And Inara was rather tame, but quote unquote chaotic. But you've become more lawful over time, and absolutely more wild and unhinged.
Yeah,
over
Carrie-Ann
time as well.
is lawful unhinged.
She's lawful unhinged. Yeah,
It's pretty good. Naturally.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
So I just wanted to point that out. I thought
that
was
makes
fun.
sense.
Statisticians in the audience, feel free to graph that. And finally, guys, we're into spoily corner. Are we ready? Do we have our who can say vocoders ready?
Yeah, we're ready to put on our final garnishes on our who can say dish.
Good. All right. From the question surgeon, Phoebe is a chosen one. For what? To take down Stephen? To close Camp Die? To save the camp?
Who can say?
Say. With all the camp counselors getting killed, Michelle also asks, who's responsible for the children? Who can say?
The other staff. Just the counselors being pulled in. I totally forgot that 2 counselors fucking died inside of the toilet.
You did that.
Technically, they're still missing. So, like, for
we
everyone
saw
else.
their bodies.
No, so sorry. For us, we know, but everyone else, they're still missing, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure someone told ADZ, like, these children are dead now.
You think one of us went to ADZ and said they died in a giant slime ball?
Who can say?
Who can say?
I realized the audience couldn't see my reaction to that. I was like,
Hey, they were also irresponsible and making out with their significant others.
Yes.
So, and that's what happened.
So did 4 people die or just 2?
Oh, no, just them two.
Okay,
It's
both the
that no
llamas.
one looked for them because they would disappear and go kiss in the parking lot for
Right.
24 hours at a time, and that's why no one looked for them.
Right.
It's important to remember to hydrate while you kiss for that long.
Yeah. I also really liked that they... I really like that they had the name plate necklaces,
I
which
know.
was so camp for me.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Moss, acid, would like to know, will we get an episode of the best friends murdering Frederick? I'll tell you, if Julia has something to say about it, we will.
Yeah.
Duran, what was the effect of the Alicanto eating the director's whistle? I would love to know, Duran. I would love to know.
Who can say where the wind blows?
All right, so here's what happened. Because the Alicanto died... What if I just spoiled the rest of the
Wow.
season
Campaign.
on the after party just to
I would
see
hate
if
it.
people listen to it?
I would hate it. Maureen, out of work bookie, would like to know, how many thumbs does Chuck the forest spirit, maybe moose, but probably not really a moose, have?
0, because he's a moose.
Hey, I
Or
don't
4.
remember what this is referencing.
Oh, like, we made a reference to, like, you said, like, 5 hooved. I'm like, are fingers hooves?
Oh, that's right.
And then Amanda was like, we have 10 hooves because we have the same
Nails
keratin
are
in our
the
nails.
same thing, yeah.
Oh,
And it was
that's
the
right. We
wildest
went
thing
in a
that Amanda
hole.
has ever said, ever.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, I also forgot about the dream I had where I was holding a cat during its own intellectual property trial, so the episode reminded me of that.
Can I
was
tell
really
you,
fun.
Amanda? I cut that initially, and then I was like, "What the fuck am I doing? Put this back. Undo."
Thank you.
Can I also say Amanda told me about a dream she had lately, and I really need to share it because really want to bookend this with dreams.
Sure.
Amanda told me the other day that she had a dream that she looked in our fridge, and inside were a bunch of succulents. And she was really upset. She was like, "Oh, I have to move these, or Eric's gonna be so pissed."
Well, no, Eric, my first worry was, how have they been growing in there? There's no light. And then secondly, like, Eric's going to be pretty pissed. There's more plants in the house.
And then you took the succulents out of the fridge and put them on the table, and then that was the end of the dream.
Yep.
Incredible.
The idea that Eric gets like in the like stereotypical TV marriage thing where like the husband's like, oh, another
The wife
another
and her
pet.
plants.
But like it's just like plants is so funny.
Listen, we have open communication about it. There's a 1 in and 1 out plant policy, just like we have with books. I would truly have my entire house would be like me picking a little maze through my plants all over the place and being like, what, you don't like almost knocking over a plant every time you turn around in your own home? And
Yeah.
I identify. Listen, guys,
Well,
that's not
I
good.
have to give context. Okay, yeah, Amanda puts plants on every single surface in our house, and I have to tell her that she can't do that. Because here's the thing about Amanda. She's long. She has long arms and legs in which to walk around the piles of books and plants there are everywhere in the apartment. And I'm not long. So I run into plants. So Amanda's like, oh, can you just turn on the light? And then the light switch is in the corner, and you need to reach around like 4 plants to get there and turn your arm backwards and maybe hit it with a fingy. And like Amanda's like, oh, you know how to turn on a light? And I'm like, no, I'm going to break everything. And then you're going to cry that your plant is dead.
That's easy fix. You get a Google Home or like a clapper, and then you're done. Voice control, baby.
No, I'm not bringing Alexa in here just so that Amanda can have piles of plants.
I do
have
also
enough
like the
plants.
idea of like a horror movie short where Eric like opens the fridge and then closes the fridge door, and there's a plant right there, and then he turns to the right, and there's a plant right there.
The only jump scare is with plants.
I think it's because it was immediately after Bray posted a photo of some like succulents he found in a box that were still doing great, and so really it's Bray's fault.
Amanda has now been giving me plants and saying they're mine so she can have more plants.
I see the
That's the
workaround.
fucking move.
Amanda hasn't got more
Loophole.
plants. You have, Eric.
Yeah, exactly.
Amanda starts giving them to you as gifts on Hanukkah.
No.
Eric's mom has
absolutely
started
not.
giving
A
us
succulent for
quote
every
unquote
day
us
of Hanukkah.
gifts
Oh,
that are
God.
plants.
This is an advent calendar. One succulent thing. And now I have a succulent named Jeremy. So there we go.
All right, guys, to finish out from KZ, 3 kobolds in a
Wait, do
trench
I have
coat.
2 plants now? Who's the second plant?
That's your only plant.
Oh, I thought I had 2 plants. Never mind.
No, we looked at those ornamental peppers, and you were pretty taken by them. but
Oh, okay.
No space for peps. KZ, 3 kobolds in a trench coat would like to know, hey, Eric, can we send in Bones mail now?
Yeah, please send in things so that John's Bones can have some questions.
I actually love that. Please do that, everyone.
Great.
Yeah.
I will, in the next after party, I will remind people, send in announcements that you need John's Bones to say over the PA system, and I will read them in the after party.
Excellent.
I love that.
100%. We'll say this in the mid rolls of things coming up that everyone should send in the after party, in the various places you put after party stuff, or tweet at us. Send in things that you want John's Bones to say over the PA system.
I mean, if they're good enough and funny enough, maybe you do them in the episode. Who can say?
Who can
That's fair.
Pretty good.
Where the wind blows.
We're so many episodes ahead. I cannot remember what we've done so far. So I'm just like, I don't know.
I don't know, maybe.
Maybe, hopefully.
All right, folks, that is all for this week's After Party. As always, we'll see you next week with a brand new episode. Thanks, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Later.
I had a dream that we were doing the after party, but then everything I said, you all laughed and said you couldn't really hear me, and we're just laughing to be nice.
Wait, really?
No, really?
No, I made it up because
Oh.
I didn't write it.
I thought you were going to say you had a dream that we were doing the after party, and every time you looked up, one of our faces turned into a plant.
No, that'd be pretty bad. Yeah, every time I look up, there's a plant right in front of my face, and it says for you from Amanda.
May your rolls turn ever upward. Goodbye.